Ooh, we're going back to January 13th this year. This Capricorn full moon is an entire culmination. I want you to check in with your photos, your emails, anything that reminds you, what was I doing in January? And you don't have to be on an exact date. Take the week, January 10th, January 16th. If you check there, or for those of you not to read your natal chart, look at your natal chart for your Capricorn placements at 3 degrees of Capricorn. And if you do that, you'll specifically see. For me, part of it was about communication, part of it was about sales, all right? And grounding and building my sales system up, building my process. That's partially for me, as well as other things retreat related. Stay tuned with Vanessa. She's going to actually show you what some of the breath work is like to get clarity in your mind.
Yes, before you tune into the information this guy gives you about the astrology and the forecast, what's showing up for you, I invite you to join the breath work, to join the breathing, because it supports you to get more clear. And even so, listening to this hot information,
it's hot, baby. It's hot.
With a clear mind and releasing all the fog and blockages out of your body, out of your system.
Oh, we're preemptively getting them in there. Now I'm going to tell you to subscribe. Stay tuned with the workshop. I really highly recommend you get that pen, get your journal, and write in with the prompts that we have. They intuitively came up. You see she got hers there. Big love, baby. See you soon. Subscribe.
You connect right now in that moment with your heart and with your belly, with your power center. And I invite you right now to breathe into your belly, breathe into your heart space. And with the exhalation, you release the air out of your system through your mouth softly. You inhale, you fill up your belly with air. You bring your breath into your heart space. Maybe even a little bit higher into your brain. And exhale, you release all the air out through your mouth. Inhale through your belly, up into your heart space, into your head space. And exhale, release. You already feel how your system starts to relax, start to arrive here in that very present moment. You can slowly release your hands down. I invite you to remain your eyes closed and you just focus on yourself right now. You start to swing your head from left to right, from right to left. You start to maybe even circle your neck. You feel maybe tension somewhere in your neck area, and you allow yourself to move freely, to express yourself freely, and to breathe. You continue breathing. And even if you feel like releasing sounds, free to release. Everything what shows today or shows right now, that very moment is allowed to be present here. And slowly come to stillness and I invite you to move your spine. Maybe you want to open up your heart to the front, round your spine, or you flow here in your own movement, maybe swinging from side to side, bringing some movement in your upper body, in your spine. Continue releasing tension. Maybe you want to stretch your spine wide out. Allow yourself to explore your spine, your movement, your breath. And observe what's showing up for you right now. Where do you feel tension? Where do you feel maybe discomfort? And where do you feel free and loose? Open. And I invite you slowly to come to stillness. And we are going to practice the breath work, especially with the purpose to create a sense of clarity within us, to forgive. Maybe there is a situation, a person, something, what's showing up right now in that very moment where you hold on to. You can take that within this breathing exercise to ask for clarity, to invite love and forgiveness. Maybe there's something you hold on to yourself where you can't forgive yourself. And everything is allowed to be there. The breath work session can be intense. If you feel dizzy in between, I invite you to take a break. And we're in total going to practice 3 cycles of breathing, forcefully in through our nose, exhale as well through our nose, and especially cleansing breath and an activation for our whole system. And who feels called can even use the arms. This can be really powerful if you stretch your arms up in the air when you inhale. You cross your ankles, and with the exhalation, you pull down with active hands, exhale through your nose. So this is an example how the breath work will look like. Later, you inhale through your nose and exhale forcefully out. And I invite you really to play with the breath, to allow yourself to make sounds in the breathing. And with the exhalation, maybe sucking even in your belly a little bit, or you discover that on your own. So we are going to start the first round of this breathing exercise, and we are setting all together the intention for clarity and forgiveness. And I invite you to inhale, raise up your arms, bring your ankles together, cross your ankles. You hold your breath here for a moment. We are preparing. Exhale all the way out through your mouth. Your arms stay up. Take the first inhale for the first forceful exhalation. And you start to move your arms up and down to really be active, to support your breath. Be powerful in your movement and continue breathing. Continue breathing, moving. And you come to stillness. Observe here with closed eyes what's showing up for you right now. Observe your mind, your body, your thoughts. And we are clearing right now our internal system. We are clearing our minds. And we are releasing everything what we don't longer need to hold on to. We are opening up ourselves. We are moving into the second round and we continue inviting clarity and forgiveness into the practice. Inhale, rise your arms up. Bring your hands together. Hold your breath here for a moment. And exhale all the way out, release. And inhale for the first forceful exhalation. You're breathing powerful, you're moving powerful with your arms, you are active. And come into stillness and observe here your thoughts, your mind, your body. Maybe you can already feel the activation, the clarification, the detox and release in your body. And this breathing is really powerful. To create clarity. And we are moving into the third and last round. You choose if your system wants to move into the third round, or if you just breathe, and it's even okay if you just hold your hands on your heart space or your belly and connect with your breath, connect with yourself. You choose your own practice and you choose what's good for you right now. And I invite you to raise your arms up with the next inhalation. We invite clarity and forgiveness. You hold your breath here and exhale, release. Inhale for the first forceful exhalation. And come to stillness. Observe and feel the clarity, the activation within you. Maybe you can feel a tingling somewhere in your body. Maybe you feel fully clear. Maybe you feel nothing at all. Everything what's right now here is perfectly fine for you right now. And I invite you to place your hands for a moment on your heart space. Connect with your heart, with your body, and send gratitude to yourself for being here right now in that moment. Sending gratitude to your body, to your whole system. Send gratitude to all the souls and humans which have a place in your heart. And you can Imagine right now how you let a golden light flowing through your whole body to all of your cells and to send the highest blessings through you. You can feel how this golden light is charging you, nurturing you. If you feel like you can stay for a moment here in that position connected with your heart, or you can start bringing any movement into your body. Right, again, here in that room and that space, and what we will share here today is a safe space for every one of us to share, to connect, and it will stay here in our circle. Thank you for being here this morning.
Amanda, this is for you. I would like for you to pick my left hand or my right hand. This is my left. This is my right.
Right hand.
I will show you this again. When the time comes, one of your prompts will come from this card. When the time comes, I will show you again. As for the gentleman here, each one of you also have a card underneath your body, underneath your pillow. One of your prompts will come from this as well.
These cards, every of these cards has a special meaning, but I invite you just to connect with the colors, maybe the number on the card, and check in what is there for you right now in the colors, in the movement of the colors. What do you associate with it? Maybe you already had, like in the breathing right now, something showing up, and maybe this reflects right now on your card.
So what we'll do is from here, while you're clear, while you have this image of this card, I'm gonna set a timer for about 6 minutes, and I just want you to write whatever's in your mind currently with this card, with what came through for you and what continues to come through for you as you transition to the table. I want you to just write. I'm not gonna give anything extra for guidance or anything to say, no actual question. Right now you have something in your mind. I want you to just write. All right, here we go. And then I'll actually give you the real questions after. So with this, the key with this now is to just tap into your intuition. Tap into your own personal knowing. And then afterwards, we'll give you the actual definitions of each card, but my timer's gonna start up here. And just let it flow. Notice the colors, notice the number, notice your feeling, and let it flow. This is the moment where you don't really overthink, you just feel. No one's gonna see what you write. It's just for you. Is there anything that came up, anybody that you want to kind of like create some space to share, or if not, we can move it forward to the next stage. But I just want to kind of open up the table. Anybody that want to share anything, whether from their meditation themselves, with the breath work, whether something you journaled.
You feel amazing after the breath work. It's
Absolutely.
like free. When you sit here, it's like you have free your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's just one of the reasons why she was recommended. She was like, yeah, let's do the breath work before we do the right. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else?
I sit with a lot of anxiety
Yeah.
in my life, like every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And through the breath work, the anxiety is still there,
Mm-hmm.
it's still present. And one of the biggest things that I've been going through over these past few days is really settling into this space of allowing.
Sure.
And in that allowing, being like, when I picture this ideal me, this like best me, this perfect version of me, instead of continually picturing that person as being anxiety free, I'm creating this relationship with life. Hey, anxiety.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
see you, even in the breath work, you're still here. Hey, Marco.
Yeah.
Hey, Marco. I'm like, I'm chill. There's nothing for us to worry about. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And funny enough, just as I said that, it just like dissipated even more.
Absolutely, because it doesn't want to be seen. Like, this is the key thing about, like, even in like the Hmong culture when it comes to observation, right? Like when you notice it's there, like it loses its power when you can just watch what it does and how it reacts. You'll start noticing it has patterns. You'll notice every time you notice, it gets quiet. And every time you're not consciously aware of that voice or of that anxiety, that's when it gets louder and it gets more distracted. So that's the magic that you came across that for yourself. Yeah, this is the whole purpose of like observation and even meditation. It's like, or even writing, you're just observing yourself objectively. Because when you go back and you read what you wrote, it's just objective. In the moment, you felt a feeling. And you just let that feeling out, not thinking about what is the result of this? Like, where am I going with this? You just know I wrote it and it's in my journal. Like, there's no objective, there's no end point, there's no goal. It's just like, I just wrote what I felt. So then when you go back and you see it again, you recognize, wow, I already knew this. And then you have your own life experiences, other distractions come up, whether it's men or women or alcohol or this, or it doesn't really matter. But whatever you wrote here was more objective, right? It was just like, nope, I just felt that in that moment. And this is true. Like, this is me just observing it. And what happens, the anxiety begins to subside, the depression begins to dissipate, because it's like, oh, this is actually not what I thought it was. It's not, and it's also not how I'm treating it. So let's get into like a little bit of what's going on from an astrological standpoint, and this is going to bring you to your next prompt. So right now, we're looking at structures, lockdowns, different institutions, laws, legal matters, boundaries that are currently existing and also dissolving within our governmental structures, especially. We're looking at things from the past and also traditions that have already existed. A lot of things are about to lift. A lot of bans. You're going to notice there's a lot of travel bans, vaccine countries are going to say, look, you don't need the vaccine anymore to come in. You're going to start noticing this in the masses. I just noticed Portugal and France just did that recently. And all that is happening because we're coming out of a space of restriction, if you will, astrologically speaking, and it's dissolving. And you're going to start seeing that reflected in the media, because what's happening now is people are starting to say, the moon is, right now the full moon is in Capricorn. One of the things Capricorn stands for is integrity. It stands for that public image, that social status. And they don't fold. They don't break their integrity for anything. Have you have a friend that you know who's a Capricorn? Anybody like know anybody that was born in January, maybe late December? That person doesn't fold. They're like, no, this is who I am. Like, integrity is something I believe. And they don't have to even mention it. It's just how they carry themselves. So this full moon is in that space right now, but it's happening on that, even on that public image, on that public scale, even in the news. So people are now like, look, me standing in integrity, I don't want that. I don't want the vaccine in my system. You know, I'm really being honest. I'm tapping into myself. Like, I don't think I want that in my body. Or I don't think that it's worth me going to travel to this next country if I have to break my integrity to do so. And it goes above and beyond that. This is anything to do with any legal matters, any institution, different things with either your home, your past, or even your traditions. All of these things you're going to notice now, which is going to bring us to this next prompt. I want to have you look at what structures within your life, even if it's within your business, if it was within your internal security, like what brings you inner emotional security for yourself, any structures, inner structures, outer structures. I want you to take a second, look through your phone. One of the things I recommend is like pictures, because they give you a visual, right? Try to scroll back to January. I think our phones kind of all really do that. Like you can scroll to January, look around the date of 13th, anywhere from January 10th to January 16th. Just find some pictures in your phone or emails and just see, where was I in January?
January 30th.
13th, yep, 13th. So anywhere from January 10th to January 16th, anywhere within that 6 day, that week span, and just think, what was happening in my life? And I'm gonna look at my gallery too.
Exact date.
Oh shit. Nope. The 10th to the 16th. See. So like the week, that whole week. Anywhere from the 10th to the 16th. Wow. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This is amazing. Uh-huh. Wow. So now you kind of got like a little bit of an idea. Anybody kind of see like what was happening around that time frame? I want you to recognize that from then until now, and that was about 6 months in between, you'll probably see some similarities of what's happening in your life right now and what was happening then. So for an example, I at this time was running a 4-day retreat in Colombia, right? I was hosting people, I brought property for that time span, rented out a home, ran a retreat, had people flying internationally, right? And as a part of it, from a structural business standpoint, like I just did it. It cost me extra money because I didn't do certain planning. Like last minute, it's like extra hundreds coming out of my pocket. And within this, a part of my business structure, I didn't have enough structure. And so to see like where it's at now, from the back end business structure of it, me running these retreats, you now see you sitting in my home, right? Like Notice I had said as a part of this, home is one of them, past, one of them. So now I'm sitting in my home, and like Vanessa and I were talking in general, we were like, all right, like in some capacity, we enjoy the model of bringing people to our actual intimate space, even also potentially going into other people's intimate space and leading the different breathing exercises, or helping them understand more about themselves from an astrological standpoint, and really working with like people who want to attach more to the purity of their heart, right? And get into understand what it means to practice intimacy. What does it mean to be close and practice being close with people, but doing so by learning how to practice being close with yourself. So getting close with your anxiety, let's say, in that moment. And notice as you got close with it, as you got more intimate with that anxiety, you were practicing. And what is it doing is getting you closer to you, leading from a place of purity in your own heart. So that's the energy in general. Like that's how mine's translated from then to now, right? This is me getting close to my own heart, where it's like, look, last I went to rent property. I went to rent somebody else's home. Now it's like, I'd rather pay more for rent in my own home and bring them here. Or potentially go to an existing, we were talking, this is like still in the works, but potentially go into other homes to do this. So that's how that manifested in my life and how those structures. You got your own pictures, you got your own lives that happen. What I want to ask now is for the question, for the prompt is, how can I expand from here? It's as simple as that. Think about where you were, understanding that was a starting point and it came all the way around full circle, and now 6 months later, you're here today. And just ask the question of, how can I expand from here? So you've already expanded from January to now. But now that you have a bird's eye view, how can I expand from here forward? Turn the music up a little bit, and then from there, I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes on this prompt.
I definitely don't want my face on her.
That's okay. Hey, welcome. Hey, Sade, so here's what we're doing right now.
Okay. Oh, well, this me.
Sade, give me a second. Okay, is it pronounced Sade?
Sade.
Sade?
Like that same school operator?
Okay. So I got them writing a specific question now, but for simplicity in the moment, this is one of the prompts I did first. I want to have you just take a look at this card. And I want you to just feel what comes up for you. What did this card make you think about right now? What feelings arise?
Like,
Your tension in your shoulders?
yeah, I'm feeling like, I don't know, I'm feeling like something on me right now.
Good. So you got your journal with you, right?
Yeah.
I want you to
Hot like a
No, no, no,
steam.
no, 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 nope, nope. I just want you to write that. I want you to write that feeling. We all got about 5 minutes on their prompt, and then I'll be able to catch you up after. For now, I want you to just write this feeling you have. You can check the number, whatever the number makes you think of. Looks like it's a 5. All right, we got about 40 seconds. Hit your closing thoughts. And pens down. Let them drop. Yeah, here's one of the fun parts. Here's where it gets a little more personal for each one of you right now. So I'm excited about this. Before I move forward, just based off that card, is anything that rised up that anybody feels they want to kind of open up and share?
On my card, I had the number 8, and to me that represents infinity. And then I feel like I saw the 8 here as well.
Yeah.
I feel like limitless potential, and have limitless, limitless potential.
Sure.
And I'm able to talk about my mind, I'm able to do anything.
Absolutely.
So the 8 to me, like
The flow of energy, consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I got from this. And then the blue and the green made me think of nature, like
Sure.
the ocean and greenery and trees and everything.
Sure.
So, but it's still inside of the 8, and they're connected together in the middle.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay.
And that's what the 8. I felt like I saw the 8 everywhere, and even when I turned this around, I felt like it was hard.
Yeah.
I see a bunch of 8, and maybe think of angel numbers.
Right.
Angel numbers are
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope. You gotta if you want, there's a journal that we have on all about the numerology, and the 8 is in there, and it talks about power players. Power players. It's one of the 8 represents. So yeah, the other side of it is powerlessness, right? So it's like kind of what you choose on that within that infinity. Like one side is like it's just raw power. The other side of that is just powerlessness. So we kind of fall sometimes into the either or, especially like people that have very, very powerful, big personalities. It's like we either fall into this is me, this powerful emperor, empress, king, queen mentality, or we fall into this weak, nimble peasant type of mentality of like, I can't do anything. I need help in every capacity.
That's speaking when you said that. I always feel like, and I wrote it down here too, kind of, and I was just saying how I realized 2 different people,
Sure.
or at least 2 different personalities, and it's one thing I've always struggled with. I feel like when I have my camera around like that, I have this confidence. I'm so can't think of the word right now.
You're in your element. You're in your element.
I'm in my element. I can talk to everybody.
Sure.
It just makes me have a different confidence when I don't have my camera. I'm in the corner.
Sure.
I'm not being seen by him. And I hate that. I would love to be the same person I am with my camera without.
Absolutely.
Because with my camera, it's like a false sense of.
Yeah.
I can do anything with my camera.
Are you a photographer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's photographer.
So, when I have my camera, I can go talk to the most beautiful woman in the room. I can go talk to the richest guy in the room because I have my camera.
Right.
But if it was just me, I wouldn't do that. I would probably be in the corner somewhere, not talking to anybody. And I struggle with that.
I seen some of your placements in your chart, and it makes sense what you're saying. So we'll go through that a little later, because your chart. Yeah, it's either or. It's either or. Beautiful. So I'll tell you what. Here's the fun part. Everybody knows their sun sign and their ascendant. I'm going to give you your little individual report. Yeah, you got a Capricorn. You're a Libra, and you had a Capricorn ascendant. But check that photo again. Let me see. You know yours. Yeah, she knows. Taurus and Capricorn. Okay, I think we got another Capricorn here. Sade, do you know your ascendant sign and your Do you know your time of birth?
No.
No. All right.
No.
You know what month you were born?
January
Okay. What day?
18th.
Are you a Capricorn or Aquarius?
A Capricorn.
You're a
I'm
Capricorn.
on a cusp.
You're a Capricorn. Okay. That's cool. So we got a lot of Capricorns in here right now. We got a whole bunch. And this full moon is in Capricorn, which is ironic because that means that it's going to impact each of you really that much more. But it's beautiful because when I get really into your chart, I can be able to see even the direct area in your life that is going to impact. But that's more on an individual level. But if you want, just ask me. So, Marco, what about you? What are your sun and your ascendant? Okay. Wow. That's impressive. All right. We're almost like, I see why we're so close. All right. Here we go. So, and I know Amanda has Scorpio ascendant. I don't know her other sign was. All right. So there are none of us in here that have Aries. Amanda, what's your sun and your ascendant? One was a Scorpio, right? Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute.
Scorpio rising, Libra sun.
Okay, so I got another Libra here. Okay, dope. So no Gemini, dope. Cancer, none of them. Leo, none of you. All right, no Virgo. So Libra's my first one. So I would take notes on this. You're a Libra, right? Yeah. So I have 2 Libras in here. I would take notes on this. So here is what this full moon is kind of impacting for the 2 of you here. You might be renovating your home. There might literally be some renovations in your home and some culmination process of your home. Again, if you look back at that January 13th, anywhere within that week span, these are for Libras. Yeah, so not really applying to you at the moment. So to go back to January 13th, check in with the home, see what was culminating for you. What were you thinking about with your home? What challenges may you even potentially had with the kids in your long-term dreams, like that impact anything, or certain challenges you had around your romance life. That's also a possibility. Certain challenges you had around your romance and how that may have interrupted your dreams, your aspirations, where you may have been too fixed in a certain habit that kind of stopped those dreams from coming through. This also could be some type of performance, how you may be performing, your creative expression. So like Jay, prime example, you were just talking about, your camera is linked to your creative expression, right? And it may have some tension with where you may be fixed in that long-term dream. So that could even potentially say like, hey, the challenge that you have around that creative expression, let's just say for an example, maybe stopping and preventing some of your dreams because there may be a fixed habit around, I can't do this without my camera. That's a potential. But to get back to a different side, you may have found for the Libras that you helped your parents with money, or potentially even some health issues that they had. And you may notice there was some combination from that January time until now that like, okay, their health is probably in good hands now. It's in a good space. You may be helping either the family or the home. There's some themes. The final is there may be some talent, some hobbies, some skills that you actually are now able to materialize. Some talent, some hobbies, some skills that you're actually able to materialize. And the questions that you really want to kind of ask yourself now is, what are my internal pressure points? I would literally write that question. What are my internal pressure points? And why am I special? By the time you answer those questions and you look back at that January 13th, 3 days prior, 3 days after, some magic is going to happen. What are my internal pressure points? And why am I special? And then last, for any of you that have kids or don't have kids, you might be thinking about kids. There might be something coming up like, look, I might be ready. Or if you already have kids currently, you might be thinking about their long-term dreams, their long-term plans. All right, I have Scorpio here. I'm a Scorpio rising, she's a Scorpio rising, you got a Scorpio sun. So, sales, communications, or siblings. There's gonna be some great news and you might find yourself finishing a creative project. You may recognize that your passions and your hobbies are what is creating the sales. Like, it's what now is like, oh snap, this is why the sales are coming through and I'm gonna be communicating my passions, communicating my hobbies. And it's gonna be what's creating the sales right now. So you got money, you got bank coming in. You may notice that the kids may even got really good grades at school. Amanda, you have kids?
One.
And notice that they got really good news when it comes to school and they may have really good grades recently. Like, you may be feeling really blessed as a parent. Like, oh my God, like I really have children that are just awesome, absolutely awesome. And that's very clear right now. You may be at a potential place where you're looking and you may be ready to buy a car or potentially travel for your siblings. That may literally be happening. You may be traveling for your siblings, or even to communicate, or traveling to make sales, traveling to communicate something about those passions, those hobbies. You're gonna notice that there's gonna be something coming up. There may be some challenging coming up where duty calls at home. Whatever you consider home right now, it's gonna be like, look, duty calls. This could also be linked to some travel that may be coming up. You may recognize that in your private life, like You may feel like a rock in a hard place. Is that the saying? Like a rock in a hard place, something like that. And the difficulty here with this whole duty calls at home type of thing may be, you may be letting down a person in authority at the moment. I would say even especially somebody involved with the home matters. That may feel like, you know, whatever this challenge that's coming up, whatever this shift coming up between your home and your private life, or even with your roots and your public image, the kind of back and forth with that, there may be some decision that is coming up that has to be made. Again, whether buying a car, traveling with siblings, something that you have to do for sales, or something that you're doing to monetize your passions and your hobbies. But it's linked all the way to this whole great news about this creative project that you're doing. So, you know, I would just say be mindful of not pressuring yourself right now for who you feel you might be letting down, because that may come up. Sagittarius. Marco had a Sag, right? Any other Sags here? No, just Marco. And Sade, you're gonna want to listen when you hear that Capricorn. You say you're a Capricorn, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You're a Ascendant Capricorn. All right. So that's I'm gonna get the Capricorn soon. And Sade, when we leave out of here, I'll give you your other ascendant one, because I know you don't know your time of birth right now, so I can't figure out your ascendant without your time of birth, without doing some miraculously long equation that would still, I probably would get it wrong.
I don't know, because my mom passed away,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Let your mom get that, and you can send me a message
My
later.
mom passed away. I don't know.
Oh, I understand. With that being said, your birth certificate, you find that, your birth certificate should have it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Send me a message. So Sag, here you go. Money. You're bringing money into the home. You're literally going to be feeling like, oh snap, I'm bringing home the bacon. You may be finding yourself getting a new client, and you're actually going to be getting a raise in your pay. You're going to get a pay raise, which is dope. It looks like some of the challenge, you may have some challenge around being unconventional with your sales, being unique in how you create those sales. That may be some of the challenge, but it's also going to be linked to actually overcome that challenge. Potentially teaching, potentially check if you're teaching with a really, really big ego. And if that's blocking you somehow, how you might be fixed in your ego that is linked to your teaching methods, which is going to somehow impact your sales. When you feel like you get over that tension point, that is more likely what I'm seeing is going to bring that new client, because you may open yourself up to a whole new world of what is possible. You know, when you shift those beliefs or open and release some beliefs. So again, January 13th is what you look back to, because whatever's happened then is going to probably tell you, hey, this is what was going on with my ego. This is what's stopping me from making the sales and teaching and long distance travel and getting that raise in my pay that I know I deserve. The beauty is you may find that your investments are paying off. Tap that off for a second. Yeah, the investments might be paying off. Or you may be finding that there's sales that you're making even in the home, from the home. You may even be finding yourself purchasing a home. That's a possibility. So the sales of buy, you're not the expert. Advisable to ask for help, read the whole contract. So whatever contracts you may be coming across, one, make sure you read the whole contract. Two, recognize that this is a scenario where this may be that tension I was saying, of like a fixed belief you may have that, okay, look, I've done plenty of contracts. I don't need to ask for help right now. I got a report here that says it's advisable to ask for help for whatever that you're about to sell or whatever you're about to buy, especially if it's something like purchasing a home or some investment you're looking into. Recognize in this scenario, you're not the expert. That will really prevent you from probably a big pitfall in your bank account. And it instead will, if you can kind of like shift the ego to the side, it instead will bring that new client and bring that pay raise that's going to allow you to bring that money into the home or bring the money home to the family. Capricorns, I got a whole bunch of you. Here we go. All you Capricorns. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4 of you here. I think Caps. Your personal growth and your evolution, you may find it has come to a completion cycle. It's like, look, you're in a way, you're done. Whatever was happening back January 13th, 3 days before, 3 days after, you may recognize, wow, like I was looking to grow in this particular area of my life. And you may recognize like it has culminated, like you have evolved, like you hit a point where like, yo, I'm there, it is done. You may notice that your one-on-one interactions right now are really good. Like you're having you're having almost even luck and abundance coming within those one-on-one interactions. Your relationships, you're now at a space where you're saying yes, and you're changing your status in the world, literally. How you are identifying with who you are and yourself has basically from that January 13th time, 3 days before, 3 days after, has now hit a phase where you're able to say yes in those relationships, yes in those interactions, yes for the personal growth you've done, and you actually feel maybe even for the first time in a while like you're okay, like you actually accepting that you deserve this feeling, and you're not pinning yourself down as like I gotta do more. You're actually able to take a break and look and say, damn, like I actually did this much and I'm proud of this, rather than being hard on yourself and getting depressed because you think you should be further. So now we're looking at commitments, right? So commitments, you may find yourself signing some potential collaboration. You may sign some collaborations or even have some life contracts. Right now, I would say it is a time to, on those contracts, life contracts, whatever collaboration you're doing, slow down a little bit. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Moving fast right now might actually impact your bank. It's going to impact your income, and it's going to impact your shared resources. Whatever resources you're sharing with people, slow down on these contracts, on these life contracts, these collaborations. Not saying don't do anything, not saying don't go forward, just saying slow down. You may be recognizing that with this slowdown, you're going to have to potentially expose your values that you have to your partner in order for that full victory to kind of come through. Like right now, you may be looking and thinking like, everything's good with the partner or the resource that you're sharing with people, but by slowing down, you're going to recognize, look, I need to get and make sure my values and their values are actually aligned. And this is business partners. This is romantic partners. This is anybody you're sharing resources with. It doesn't have to be a lover. It doesn't have to be a boss. Properly discuss the bank and shared resources. Yeah. So right now for Capricorn, it's really a good time to like, look, talk about the money. Talk about the resource that you're sharing and make sure that your values are aligned. That's why you want to slow down right now. And the reason is, to go back to that January, the personal growth and the evolution that you've gone through, this is what has come and why your one-on-one interactions are good. This is why your relationships are saying yes. All types of relationships, friendships, platonic, business, romantic, they're all able to say yes, and you're changing your status in the world and how you identify with yourself and those partnerships, because you're like, all right, I'm talking about the values that I have now. I'm actually communicating that, and I have some luck, some ease in communicating that. Dope. Any Aquarius? No. Any Pisces? You a Pisces? He's a Pisces. You told me it was a Scorpio and a... Yeah, that's not it. Scorpio Sun, Sagittarius Sun. Yeah, I already did him. You already got both yours. You got your Libra and your Capricorn. Taurus. I didn't do Taurus. I didn't get Taurus for you. I got you here. All right, here's my last one. I got a Taurus.
Moon and Pisces doesn't matter.
No, not for this, but that's like the best place for the moon actually. It's the highest actually. All right, Taurus, you are looking at learning and travel. Okay, learning and travel is being stimulated for you. long-term dreams, your friends, your networks, your networks, your connections, all these things are having a lot of luck, ease, harmony coming in. And you may recognize that a study that you had is completed. You at the point where like you graduated. Whatever you back January 13th were learning, you have basically achieved a long-term objective. You're like, oh shit, it's done, I got it. And as a part of this, you may be coming up on some travel abroad with some of these friends, with some of these connections, with these people that are helping your dreams out, or you're helping their dreams out. And the only real thing that you want to check right now is the ego clash with the family or whoever has authority in that career space, right? Where's that coming from? Okay, yeah, so you may have a challenge coming in within your career or how you publicly identify with yourself based off of who you are in your private life, who you are and when it comes to your roots, the family, back in the home. That will probably open up something for you, understanding the tension between how am I challenged in being unconventionally my unique self, how I publicly show up versus how I creatively express myself in private. Whatever tension and challenges is coming between the two of those is going to help reveal how this ease and this harmony within your long-term dreams, your friends, your connections, really kind of like what's not just bringing in the wealth from a money standpoint, but the overall wealth, like your dimensions of wellness, like spiritual wealth, mental wealth, emotional wealth, all that abundance is gonna be very clear right now. And it all somehow linked to January 13th, 3 days before, 3 days after, and the completion of that course that you graduated, that long-term objective you finished up, potentially some travel abroad with friends. Here's my last thing now for each one of you. You all got your individual reports, right? I want you to take from your two signs, I want you to think back one more time to January 13th, one more time, knowing what you know. With your sun sign and your ascendant sign, I want you to write again. So you wrote what you wrote prior, where what was happening January 13th, way before you got your report of what culminated. Now that you see, okay, he just said something and these things are resonating in a way like how, but the how doesn't really matter right now because it just is. January 13th, 3 days before, 3 days after, what has culminated in that 6 months? How does your individual reports, so Sade for you, right now it's just that Capricorn one I gave you. Just take your individual two that you got. How is that how's it playing out for me? Just that, literally ask yourself, like, you know what does this all mean? Where am I going from here? What have I grown from? And how has this created internal security for me within this 6 month space with everything you just got from your individual report? I can't in the moment make it more specific because each of you got a different report. So whatever comes to mind, again, especially us going to Cancer season, this is just a moment to feel. It's not actually a moment to have a destination or have a goal. This is like, look, my inner security right now is linked to whatever these feelings that are rising, whatever has happened back January, what I've culminated full circle 6 months that got me here, that this report is in its different ways from my individual sign, kind of confirming, which is different for each of us. So from there, write what you feel. You did the breath work in the beginning, you got your January report in the middle, you got your individual reports here. You know what you wrote before you got the report, and now you're gonna write what you get now. So I'm gonna let this song rock for 4 minutes. Whatever's in your mind, get it out of your mind and onto the paper.
I just realized I did January 26th to 2020. That's what it was, right?
No, this year.
Oh, 2021. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2021.
So that's really interesting. Because it was very for that time. Does it help you too? This is another thing I read.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this.
I
Wow.
didn't really know what it meant. But I had, like you said,
It means a lot,
I'm
actually.
interested in all of this stuff.
Yeah, it means a lot. And I understand why you think what you think. I'll do a little later. Yeah, it makes sense. You can check back in with your card, see how that may play into all the energies. The two of you are here.
What number is on mine?
You have a 21. The 21 can break back into a 3, which in the journal we wrote for numerology turns into the playful communicator. You can split them into the 2, which is often talking about cooperation and being an instinctive explorer, which is then what you do communicate. Side A for you with a 5, it kind of comes into the big change maker. That's what your 5 breaks into, being a big change maker. It's like, it could be sudden, drastic change, major change.
For 36 minutes.
36. So that also is like being playful with your communication. It can also mean movement, travel, and the 6 breaks more into like being a selfless lover, right? Like being able to vibrate with love from a selfless standpoint, not really looking for something in return. And if you add them together, it really speaks about how you really have altruistic beliefs, you know, even potentially for the world or just even for yourself. Like, have an altruistic mindset. Like, okay, look, like, you know, I envision a better world. Like, legitimately, I know it's possible. And for you to bring that better world into physical reality, it's going to be about like being more playful with your communication. And
I'm very good at communication.
I believe you. Absolutely. Yeah. Being playful with it, allowing the movement in your communication, allowing the adaptability, allow yourself to shift and how you communicate and expand on because you're already good with communication. It's like expand on how good
How can it be better? How can I improve communication?
Practice forms of it that may not seem you may not normally do, right? Singing is a form of communication. Humming is a form of communication. Eye contact is a form of communication. Using your actual words to speak is a form of communication. Adding humor, if you didn't prior, is a form of. She's amazing. She is amazing at eye contact. Yeah. She don't know how to do anything but eye contact. Yeah, she'd be piercing your heart, right? Everywhere.
It's a kind of confidence. If you're not looking somebody at, you're just like swiping away.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not confident.
No.
As well for me, it's intimacy as well, like looking into your eyes, because often we share ways of connection. So look into our eyes, we like then get insecure, and this is intimacy for me as well.
Yeah.
Because the eyes are the window to our soul. So yeah, and I'm in the practice as well to be open. This is like my life topic with my life part 7, like learning to be open and to trust, and this is why I practice with eye contact, for example, to show myself open as well to others.
It's so common for people to be like,
Yeah. And like searching for the words.
Yeah, searching all around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't wanna look at that.
Making eye contact is, without, it takes practice, right? Like, it's like, especially more so in the Western culture, I would say, like, because on the other side of the world, it's like even being in Europe, like when you toast to somebody, you make eye contact.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't, it's like,
Whoa.
step back. We don't trust you. So yeah, that's a lot more like in the US. I would say they're bad with eye contact because I don't want to say everybody, but there's too many people lying. Too many people deceiving, like they got alternative intentions. Not that you can't make eye contact, but it is definitely a lot more difficult to lie to somebody's face or deceive them when you're making direct eye contact. Not that you can't, because some people are really that good, right? Spies exist, like they do. So yeah, is there any closing thoughts about what is happening before I give you the last little, like, what I understand is something you kind of expect moving forward?
Well, it's really interesting because both the times there's some interesting relevancy.
Mhm.
I was in 2020 at that time. That I was like, oh, this is the time when I did it. In 2020, I was traveling to New York. This was the first time that I had been back to the States in almost a year.
Mhm.
And one of the guys that my friends that I was consulting with, they convinced me to go to New York and to support him to open some doors with a lot of my old contacts.
Sure.
So that was interesting. That was the first time I stepped back into that world, and it's a world that I sort of spoken to y'all about, like I sort of.
Oh, right.
Too. So that came up for me, and originally I was interpreting it as something that I had one of my investors call me like a few days ago, and I was telling him I was like, nothing that I could gain from creating, opening this relationship with him. Like, there's so many of these people that I put away. Like, you're a part of that part of my life that I don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Now I'm this hippie loving guy. Like, don't call me. And it's so interesting because obviously so many of those people are like the influencers of the world.
Right.
The big movers and shakers and money and entertainment and all of that. And so many of them I've done like this because they remind me of this part of my life that I ran away from, that is like now doesn't feel so great to me. So there was a resurgence when talked about the completion of wondering and imagining what it would look like, because this is back again to that, me creating that separation of me integrating that.
Right.
Saying, well, what does it look like if I actually tap into all of the networks, the power, the influence, everything that I've had in my life, and actually bring that into this world? And then it just so happened that this last January, the actual one that we were supposed to do, I moved into our new place in Tulum, and that place felt like the blending of old me, because it was like dope, ballerific incense, like we had a jacuzzi in the freaking place, and it's like all beautiful design, like Instagram out in sense, right? And at that same time, I was supposed to launch my Dream Life series, which was going to be the first foray of me saying, I'm going to go ahead and invest into something that I'm passionate about, that I really enjoy, and take it seriously at that same level. And shortly after that, I stopped that and went and was like, I'm just going to trade crypto because I don't want to have to feel any level of financial pressure around this passionate thing, because then it's going to become like the other stuff that I've done.
Sure.
So I'm just going to trade crypto and get that to a place where it's there, and that entire thing is at a full completion point where, like, now me and Anna are starting our relationship series. I'm starting back to create content. That exact time was when I stopped all that stuff. which is really crazy. Yeah, so I'm like, okay. So when you read the things of all sales, it was, communicating my passions and hobbies and getting abundance and money from that, having challenged to drop my ego, and part of my ego also includes me opening up to some of those people. Because the other part of some of my fears are, oh, well, I'm not rich and powerful anymore. Like, I wonder if some of them will even like me.
Sure.
Or maybe they won't accept me.
Right.
So as much as I want to avoid it because I'm like, oh, that's not my world anymore. It's also because, well, I used to know that you would accept me because I had something very specific that you wanted from me that I could hold up as value. But now I'm just showing the markup.
That last part you said is very specific because we're all in this space where that tension point is in fixed Leo energy. And in general, Leo energy has this like royal, I'm a king, I'm a queen mentality where they love the praise.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when they don't get the praise, it hurts. It hurts them. And this is all of us, right? Like, none of us need to be a Leo. If you have Leo placements, it'll be a little bit more impactful for you. But yeah. So when you look in your chart, like if I was to go look for that Leo placements, anyway, if you had it, I would be able to like more specifically to your thing, because my Leo is a different space. If you even have them, all that stuff changes. But collectively, yes, this Leo Mars, this planet Mars is in Leo right now, and it wants to take action. But those actions, some part of it is dependent on validation. That I'm still seen as this king, there's this royal princess, this royal queen, whatever it is. And for each of our natal charts, that'll change in what area. That could be in your love life, you want to feel like that. That could be in how you're teaching. For me, like it's in my teaching space, it's in my long distance travel as well. It's in that space where if I think back long ago, I don't know if this is my January now, but I should look at it. Actually, I think so. Maybe, but long ago, it's like I was always so reliant on like making sure my mom is okay with me going to this next country before I book a ticket. Where like 4 days ago, like in the last couple, 3-4 trips, I'm like, I'm just booking. Actually, if I think back in January, I came here and like, I just booked it. I didn't say nothing. And then, they find out, and I told them eventually, but I didn't like say it almost looking for the validation prior to be like, oh, this is okay. So that's one way that it has showed up for me. Yeah. So thank you, because I didn't notice that for myself. So here's what we're looking at to finish it. We're looking at, especially with travel, there's some travel restrictions that we're going to be able to say bye-bye to, which is dope, because I know everybody in this room, I know we're all traveling. I don't know what you guys are doing, but this is especially when it comes to crossing country lines. The tension is looking like our willpower is potentially being stifled. So it's like, we're going back closer to some autonomy, but there's some part of it feels like, man, like I'm starting to recognize that I'm in this cage also. This is globally. This isn't any one of us individually. It's like, because they're trying to give you back some power by relieving some restrictions, but we're having mixed feelings about certain liberties returning. Because it's like, you have the freedom to choose, but there's still some struggles that are going to rise because they're going to create new rules and also new restrictions. And what I think is happening, and this is more of just a prediction, it's not really something solid. What I think is happening is people are now saying, look, like, Capricorn, this full moon is an integral sign. It's a collective sign. And they're like, look, these rules, you guys are just switching them freely whenever the fuck you want. And it's like, this is like, I'm getting annoyed a little bit because, my willpower is starting to feel a little stifled. Like, say that this is okay, you say this is not okay, you say we're free, you say we're not, you say vaccine passport is going to be the move, and then now we don't need a vaccine, but I already got the vaccine, and now I'm bothered because you're telling me I don't. It like, this is the stuff that collectively is shifting, and there's going to be some tension, people were not going to be very happy, but it's all cool. Amanda,
Sade, you have any closing thoughts for yourself that you want to share?
I feel like I want to throw up. Like, it's just like a release of everything, like building up. Everything building up is releasing. And I'm having all these vibrations and everything every time I step out the door. As I'm driving in my car, as I let people come around me. Right now, it's like I'm having a real episode. And like, I don't know, I just been bottled up for so long, basically being a dancing monkey. It's like I'm breaking out of this cage. I'm breaking out of this cycle. I don't know how else to explain it. It kind of feel weird at the same time, but a good weird. Like I needed this, like, and a lot of people around me don't understand what I'm doing. I can't even say it. This is a new journey, and I'm here for it, and I'm opening up. See, my family, they don't talk about stuff like this. They don't believe in stuff like this, but I do. It was just something that I was drawn to come to because I was raised in a Christian home, a Christian background, not particularly in a certain spiritual way. It's just like you have to believe in God. In my understanding, after my mom passed away and like you're going your own way because you're grown now, I've in tuned myself with like a more spiritual path. Like I know it's a lot of ways to get to it. Everybody have their own way. Their way don't necessarily have to be my way. I may not pick up what they putting down. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm liking it and I'm here for it. That's all I can say. I don't know. Take the camera off me. I don't like that.
Nah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. There's this note that I missed earlier. Here's the beauty right now. What you just said, I think resonated with people because people are feeling like that collectively. And there's this sense of like happiness because it's like, oh snap, like I'm finally done. Like I'm at the end of the cycle. This full moon closes the cycle. And Jupiter's doing something right now where it's like it's providing us healing. This is the magic. Like it's providing us healing. We're healing whatever happened in that cycle phase. And part of that is about the traditions, any traditions that we had, any things that we knew as like this is traditional. Those are what is being healed right now and released, and what we're feeling more happy about.
What is her card?
She had the 5.
This one?
Yeah.
Because I have the impulse maybe to share with you the meaning of the card, because as I heard you speaking, I really resonated with your message. And my dad died a few years ago, and I resonate, even it was my dad, my father, but hearing from you that your mom passed away touched me really. So I want to share what's the meaning of the card. And actually my mom and I recreated these cards together because of my dad's death. She created these cards to find the hidden beauty in dark times and even in grieving. And this card means joy. Maybe as well for you the sign to really focus on what brings you joy and following your joy and your passion and allowing yourself this release. And even though the throwing up, or even it really can happen that you throw up, that it's a cleansing, a purging, and this is.
That's what happened to me. One day I was just like, I didn't know. It was like a feeling that came over me. And I like got dizzy and I threw up. Like now that I've opened up about it, it's like a cooling sensation in my gut. Like it's, I don't know, it's weird. I'm
purge.
I'm having all these feelings.
Purge. It's that simple. Like you purged, and I would say when the next purge wants to rise up, let it out. Like, because whatever is poisoning your mind, your thoughts, your habits, your behaviors, your beliefs prior, it wants to get out. So give it a space
to do so.
And that's a big, like the red, the big fire, the big power within you. And it comes from your power center. Here's your power. And with a card, like using really
I
joy.
feel like a flow, a soothing sensation, like a flowing river. It's like I just feel it flowing out the tip of my fingers and out my feet. My hands and my feet are sweating, and I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's like I feel everything. Everything is everything I come in contact with, even if I don't come in contact with it. That I don't know. It's just, you know how you will play a stereo loud and you'll see the speaker saying boom 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 boom. That's how it's feeling to me. I don't know. That's my feeling.
Yeah,
it's just pulsing out of me. Like
that's the Mani Pura in the center. This is your solar plexus chakra. Your forward moving energy. The ambition is it's cultivating from that center point, and you know you're glowing. Literally, you're glowing outwardly, and it's just like a volcano in its own way. That's just like, okay, I'm ready to be me, do me, like rise. My identity has shifted. You know, I have evolved. You had a Capricorn, from what I remember, and that was exactly what, I don't have your ascendant in the moment, but that's exactly what it said. It's like, look, your personal identity, how you identify with yourself, is brand new, and it has finished its cycle. Like, you are now that new person. There's nothing further that you need to do. And mind you, this moon doesn't hit until the 24th. So we're about 5 days early. So recognize that as also part of your power for everybody in here. We're about 5 days earlier than
drunk.
already feeling what's
I feel
done.
drunk. That's how I'm feeling. Like I was drinking. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm here for it. This is my first time going through it. I've always felt funny, but I never really identified with what is making me feel like this, what's drawing me to this. And I had to shed my old past. Everyone that thought they knew me, because they handled me in a certain way of how they wanted to handle me and not how I needed to be handled. So it's like I had to move on, even in whether it hurt people or not. I tried to express that and let them know, but they didn't understand. And I was being stagnant and just like living to their expectations and not my own. And it's like when I stepped into my own realm, I feel this power and I like it. And the feeling I get, I like it. And
I like it too.
I used to self-sabotage myself with doing marijuana and stuff and all that other stuff. Like, and I don't even need that stuff. I don't need it. It's like I'm a natural high. You see, that's how I feel every day. Like, I ask myself, why did I do that to myself for so long? I could have been living in my purpose. I was self-sabotaging myself. And then the people around me enabled it. And I feel like they knew my potential, but they was like allowing me to sleep on it and making me sleep on it. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's just a release. It's just a release. And I like the feeling in I'm on the right way. I'm on the right path of what I need to do for myself. Yeah. That's
dope. Yo, definitely make sure you send me a message of how all this cultivates for you in the following days. And I'm excited. We'll talk because I'm gonna get you your ascendant. But like she said, I think the biggest thing is follow your joy right now. If it doesn't bring you joy, then it's not in your life, period. Just put a period on it. If it ain't bringing you joy, it's not necessary. It's that simple.
That's where I'm at right now. And that's crazy that you just said, put it in that words, right? That's exactly what I'm feeling right now.
It's like you can literally put a period on it. Like, that's it. Boop, done.
Yeah, and now you have this card in your mind as an anchor, which is your reminder.
Yeah. So that said, for all of you, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just have you close your eyes. It's gonna be your clothes off. I want to have you, if you can, put your feet literally in the ground. All right. I want to have you open up your chest. Us opening our chest right now was kind of just like, hey, look, you know what? I'm opening my heart to the possibilities. I'm opening my heart to the possibilities. I'm opening up my heart to the healing. I'm opening up my heart to the healing. And I want you to literally lift your toes and spread them out as best you can. And imagine the roots of a tree coming from your toes and digging into the core. I want you to envision those roots reaching deeper to the center of your value system, to the center of who you want to be and who you are, to the center of your integrity, to the center of your purity. And I want you to latch on with those roots. And from here, I want you to breathe in soft, silent. You shouldn't even hear your breath. As you imagine the air rise through your heart, cleansing, healing, hold your breath. Expand your belly, hold your breath. And that air that's around your heart, I want you to inhale soft and slow one more time, up to the mind, out the top of your head. Inhale slow, allow the air to rise, and then open your mouth. Allow the air to escape. Visualize the mist escaping. As your shoulders get easy, your jaw relaxes, all the tension from your teeth release. Wow, it's that simple. Ooh, it's that good. When you're ready, you can wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. You can step back in your body. I want you to put your right hand on your heart, and I just want you to rub in a circle. Just rub in a circle. And just say thank you. 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 Breathe into that feeling. Wow, ecstasy. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And you are free to roll, my friends. Amanda, thank you for joining again. Sade, thank you for joining for the first time. I really appreciated your words. It was amazing. And I'll see the both of you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, reach out anytime. Ask me anything you want. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Love.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.